Good morning, and welcome to Morning Light Radio. Thank you for visiting. Thank you for your presence, and thank you for being here and being now. And I look forward to a day where we can feel the presence of ourselves. We could feel our participation in the mystery. We can recognize the driving force of our love. Maybe you have the opportunity to go on a walk, feel the cool breeze, look at the night sky, hold a loved one's hand, call your mom or dad or someone you care about, say thank you. Maybe call someone else who you've had a falling out with and tell them it's okay. Tell them you're over it. Maybe you can remain in bed, catch some dreams. Maybe you can dream awake. Maybe you could sit down, do a little meditation, and be with your breath. And take a few meaningful breaths and feel those movements. Feel that space. can ask why you feel the way you do, or why you don't feel. You could ask why the experience is the way it is. You could ask that question and put it out there, and feel, and just feel. We could spend a little time being more than words, more than thoughts, or less than words, less than thoughts. It's kind of an interesting test to be here with you. With sometimes the feeling arises at like that. And maybe there is truth to that. Which leads to the question, what is it that I may be entertaining? Now to get back to the thought that arose was, I commit to this practice that I am here to present something of value. I just got kicked out, but that is not the case. And now, many pardons here. I am now excited to have the company of, I believe, two beautiful friends. One of them might have just dropped out, but I believe they will be back. The Blunt Scotsman and Just Me Art Fan. The Blunt Scotsman is live from the Netherlands. Engaged in a spiritual journey. Engaged in and grounded in the presence of this beautiful earth. And I am excited that he's here, and let's get him on the stage. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
And I say that sometimes forgetting that it's not necessarily morning for you.
Yeah, it's when my mornings are your last night hours, and your first sort of hours in the morning is me winding down for the day. So I love that sort of exchange of energies.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. It is. It's kind of an interesting Tai Chi correspondence.
Yeah, it was a strange sort of, maybe not strange, maybe that's not the appropriate word, but the day that unfolded, I was thinking about a lot of the people I've been in contact with over the last couple of weeks, and some of the discussions I've been having, and realizing that a lot of the people that I have been speaking to are on the other side of this planet. And as my day was unfolding and I decided to put my headphones on with such a beautiful blue sky and get down and dirty in my garden and get a bit of gardening done, my thoughts were with the people who are resting, you guys who were sleeping. And it was a little bit like that handing the baton over thing that we discussed at one point, where we should keep a 24/7 thing going between certain channels for people to access that constant vibration. And that's what it felt like today. It felt like the work that I was getting done, I was doing that until you guys woke up. And now that I know you guys are getting up and you guys will be up and refreshed and getting ready for your day, I can sort of be a bit more relaxed and feeling that my purpose today was more meaningful in some way. and that's
Wow,
connection.
that is an amazing experience, an amazing vibration for me to be touched by right now. And it feels like a very pure and calm and focused. And it, interestingly enough, it dispelled this sense of scrambling that kind of sometimes,
Yes,
yeah, it's
well,
freaking,
it's like, but it's like
wow.
I've always had, well, not maybe always had, have cultured this vibration and deep-seated hope for community, people, planet, tribe. Uh, but I can definitely feel a direct uh, sense of a heightened feeling of relaxation because you guys have got it. I don't need to be going into certain thought patterns to try and keep those energies flowing when the physical action's not there in a spiritual sense. I can sort of feel like I'm definitely not alone in any of this. There's so many people out there doing the exact same thing that I know is, but are now aware of. And it makes the difference. It's the consciousness connection. Uh, I can put my head on my pillow tonight knowing that you guys have got it.
Yeah, that is, it's nice to be able to not feel like we're constantly on guard
Yeah,
and there's constantly some push that is necessary to achieve, feel the vibration. Oh, yeah, it's very nice. It was, man, I just felt really nice. I loved being able to jump in and see you and Just Me Art Pand and Frankie all together last night.
yeah,
And it felt really good for me because I kind of just planned on trying to settle down a little bit um, early, maybe see if I could get some more sleep. But that's not where my energy needed to be. And I do like to recognize what's calling towards me at any given moment. Sometimes I'm
yeah.
called to rest, sometimes I'm called to do something else. And it was just great to see you guys together and have that opportunity to be involved in a meaningful conversation. And it's really, I think it's a highly beneficial practice, and it's something that's, I would say, is magical in a way that lifts the human spirit
Yeah.
and just
There's never been.
good. I'm ready. Bring it, deliver. No, I just stop and go, stop and go. I'm not going anywhere special, to be honest with you. I'm already in a special place.
I don't think there's ever been a time in history where we have all been so close. And what I mean by that is that with a flick of a switch or a downloaded link, we can be in touch with absolutely anybody on this planet instantly. We've never ever been this close to each other, but yet there's this desperate sense of separation and loneliness and some sort of disconnect from what communication should mean to the human spirit.
And it's in the word, isn't it? It's right there in the word. And that's pretty amazing. When you were in the StreamYard waiting room, Just Me Art Band was in there, and right when I noticed and was ready to get everybody in here, he dropped out, and so I'm knows about
Yeah.
our idea. So I don't want to give it away quite yet. Now to him, I don't want to give it away because when I commented last night, assumptions are estimations, should I say? So I'm really hoping.
Your audio is dropping out,
that?
brother. Your audio is dropping out.
Okay. For the moment, is it sounding like it's there? Is it still going in and out?
It's okay now for right now. It's fine, man. Just caught the end of what you were saying about that you don't want to talk about things at the moment until Art Fan turns up. Yeah, you don't want to say too much about it yet.
All right, I'm gonna just check I'm gonna put myself on mute real quick and just see what my setting is because I messed with it a little bit last night when we were chatting away, and I might have.
Yeah, we can listen to this beautiful music.
Yeah, here we go.
Warning light radio.
Very light. Let's see if this is better. I did have some settings that were not the way that I usually do them, so I think it might be a little bit better, unless it's just chopping out from internet stuff, connectivity
Yeah,
stuff.
sometimes traveling about. Also, sometimes it's just the up and down. It's a glitchy universe we're actually in at the moment. It's nothing's
Yeah, I don't.
running as smooth. Yeah.
Yeah, I generally, because the way that I'm set myself up, I keep the echo. There's like a selection for echo, like keeps it from doing echoing. Um, I I don't I don't check that box, and I don't check the box that automatically adjusts the volume
So I
because
see. Yeah, I see. Sorry, I see you replied in chat that is your music.
yes, that is a music that I did created on GarageBand, and obviously you could tell that most of it's just looping some sounds that I made. But what is kind of fun for me is I have this really freaking trippy. I'll just turn it up a little bit. Guitar modulation,
Yeah.
and so I'm just I'm kind of just soloing around, freestyling around with the guitar, and it's like has such a cool, like, calm and relaxing chill out modulator on there that it's really hard for it to sound
So
bad.
all the music I've heard on your channels has been your music.
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard my dad's at least. I know when we did that first show in the morning with me, you, Cool Frog, and just me, Art Fan. At the end, I played kind of kind of a deep, spirited song, and that was my dad's music. And so, yeah, I try to, like, it's. I like to make things. I like to make sounds and make music, and I've I've been a hobbyist recorder for 25 plus years, and I like to do macrame and all sorts of different type of art. I like to do things with my hands. It's kind of a fun thing, and and that's kind of why I love doing this, doing the videos. It's a creative outlet.
Would you say that you are in the category of being a? Let me think now. Are you a creator of content, or are you a content creator?
That's funny because I've heard these like the content creator thing so much that I didn't even want to think about that category. So I tried to avoid that thought of being a
It's just strange because,
creator.
just like you're explaining, and we're maybe a bit of a different age group, but I have been doing the exact same for most of my life, writing in journals and poetry, short stories, music. I would never say to any high level or get many things published or out there, but just the outlet of the need to be creative for some reason, and I never ever felt that I would become a content creator, because many times people have said, well, you should do something with that music, or you should get your poems published, or you should try and get your short stories, and you can make money by doing those sort of things. And I've got a strange twitch about me that I think that every single thing that I do creativity, like in a creativity sense, isn't a thing that I do for sale. You know, it's not that I think that to go into that side of things, then your creative content becomes a content of creation.
Yeah, it's well, I don't know if you chimed in at all before you jumped onto the show, but I think this corresponds with where my mind was going, where my thoughts were going, where my words were going, previous to seeing you, a Just Me Art fan, um, coming in, and I was talking about this feeling that I have sometimes when especially when I'm alone, because it's a little different, quote unquote alone, talking without um, a very clear other
Yes, but when you
trying to
but
dance around your comments.
I've got two questions for you. When you are listening to you before I'll come into your show, and I hear you specifically saying like you're speaking to another. You maybe say if you have maybe a stressful day ahead, then maybe try and get some meditation. You are actively speaking to that other. So I was wanting to ask you, do you direct it, or is this just an open invitation?
Okay, so my apologies, I was clearing my throat. Uh, so what I generally do in this particular morning practice is, I think it would be closer to the latter, as it being a open invitation, because I'm trying to allow the flow to bring forth what it brings forth, and maybe maybe it has to do with my leaning towards an orthodoxy in many places of my life.
Yes, but uh, yeah, I've still got another question to ask you, but to keep this on what we're speaking about, about the reflective thing of our thought pattern and how we can be speaking with someone and we can react to this. Uh, but that thing that you do is more of an inflection, where without having the reflection of another energy directly for you to speak with, there's a connection through the way that you are saying your words. It still sounds that you're speaking to me, or whoever would be listening, you'd be speaking to them. Or even if no one was speaking, you are still speaking to everyone.
Yeah, so, and that's how it feels when I find out that I'm speaking to myself. It's a very odd thing. And so I'll go through these practices, and I could feel like I'm speaking to somebody else for 20, 30, 40 minutes, and all of a sudden I realize that I'm the receiver. And it's a very interesting
But,
moment.
but you know what? There's a very similar thing what happened with myself, where I would do a similar sort of thing, maybe not as spiritual, more maybe in a political global wake up sense. And someone had said to me, "This is why do you keep doing these live streams when you don't get many views?" And I said, because no one's listening. That's why I was doing it. Then when it got to a point where there were so many people listening, I felt I didn't need to do it as much. And if you really felt that the whole world was listening to the vibration that you're spreading out, then you wouldn't need to do anything. It would be purpose complete. So a lot of times I think that's why we really do this sort of thing also, is because we still feel that there's a vibration that needs to be resonated with others, because it's important for people to know. And my other question for you, I've got a question for you.
I'm not listening.
Many times when I would go live, I would have these deep feeling rooted esoteric titles that would come into my mind, but not many times people would ask me, why have you titled your presentation this name? But I know you will. You will have a specific name or headline for your morning vibration. And I know it's very important to you, and I was wanting to ask you this morning, why have you called it the Signel?
Oh man. I hope that helped. That was my answer.
That did help. Yeah, because the thing is, it's like a lot of these titles that I used to come up with, they were so deep. It was such a deep, meaningful thing that was in me, and I would maybe not even mention the title in the video that I would do live. But from me, this was my mindset. This was where I was, and I was just thinking, yeah, the Signel. It's a very, very interesting.
You know, the explanation is not as good. Oh man.
I hope
I love this. Out of all the days to ask me this, my friend, I love your timing. Your timing is gorgeous. Your timing is perfect. Your timing is divine. The synchronicity of the exposure. Well, so generally, every time what I do is I don't really think much about my what I name it, the show, and the real reason why I do that. Yes, I love words. I love play on words, but the main reason why I do it is for cataloging, and so there, some sort of distinguishment from one video to another, as far as how it gets cataloged, wherever it gets cataloged, and should I ever in the future want to try to go back to something, there's some sort of reference, because it would be a lot easier, right, if I just set up a stream template and didn't change anything and just go back into it. And so as I'm making the stream, and in this case I was making the stream last night, so I was like a little bit ahead of the game for myself. And
I noticed that 10 hours ahead of the game.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what, let's get it going, because it's a little bit of it's a little bit of work. It's a little bit of work to kind of do those things for me.
Yeah, it's a setup.
And I kind of just generally put a title that just resonates, some words that resonate with me at the moment. And in doing so, they somehow align with something. And I think we've both noticed some of these things that get aligned in the conversation and elsewhere. And last night.
Yeah.
I'll put an end to this, and It's just funny because it really has the potential of seemingly removing the divine and replacing it with something very mundane. But as I was making the stream, um, I was watching a show and it was called The Signal, and
Okay.
and I go, that's perfect. This is a signal. That's exactly what this is.
So you were looking for a sign, and you got it, and you got the word sign in the signal.
Precisely. And so
And it's
that's
like,
and I think I spelt it different. I think I spelt it one way on one stream and one way on a different stream.
yes, you did. But the person who spells everything wrong, in fact, I had a Facebook group for nearly 3 years and no one told me that I had the title spelled wrong until my mother said, Alan, do you know you've spelled that wrong? And I was like, no. So no one told me. There was like over 400 people in the group. But I would be the last person to point out anybody's spelling error. I am not part of the vocabulary police.
So that's how that particular title came into existence, and I felt like that was perfect. I felt like it was aligned at that time and that moment to communicate something interesting.
Yeah, because what is the signal? The signal is not talking about the TV show, but what is the signal? The signal is is it time to go or is it time to stop?
Yeah.
You know, it's like if you're watching for the sign, that waving of the flag, that flashing of the light, you're in a state of preparedness. And that's what you're doing every morning, man. You've got preparation of your day ahead, with your work, family commitments. You reach out to your family and friends. And this is your signal, just that you're on the right path, you're doing everything you need to be doing, and being right here, right now is always where it counts.
Yeah, and if we can rewind a little bit to what you were saying about, doing your streams and people asking you, why are you, doing these streams? You got, I don't know, you're not catching people's attention or whatever, you got a few people or, you don't got a bunch of people watching. You're what is happening is you're putting out a signal.
Exactly.
And kind of like whales in the ocean.
Stop. That was the name of the group.
Oh my gosh.
But I spelled I spelled it Wales like the country.
I could end the stream right now and just revel in my joy.
3 years.
That we are linked up like we are.
not even a private message to say, listen, big man, do you know you've spelled that group wrong? Like, that's the country, not the animal. I'm like, oh. Right. Do you know something? It's like what I have discovered in my later years. I've got lots of like dyslexia sort of traits in my writing, and that just always to do with my writing, my spelling, punctuation, everything. When I was really young at school, I couldn't spell at all, but I could write a fantastic story, but the words would be written the way they sounded. Once I started learning there was like double letters in things, I just started putting double letters in everything, double T's, double R's, double S's, just in case I was maybe getting it wrong, or I'd just put doubles in everything. So things are, it's always sort of been that way, and it's strange that my sister is an English masters and was qualified for all these English awards and things, and her brother cannot spell.
But he
Just
sure can.
I just cast spells now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And I was also thinking about some of the poems and the songs that you shared and just how cool they are. And what a fantastic vibe and experience they create for anybody who is lucky enough to come in contact um, with that great art. And this is, yeah, that's what I like to find. This is like so lucky when you can find something that isn't mass produced,
Yeah.
um, and
That's the thing as well. It's like that we were here before any of the AI techno. I mean, we were here before computers, and I've been writing and writing and writing for years, and I'd wrote a poem about creativity and AI and how it was almost you could not sometimes now trust anything that's maybe being created. Unless there was a video of the person actually in the middle of actually writing something, it's but there's a certain flow to the AI lyrics that
yes,
I think
yes.
I think you can pick them out. I
Yeah,
think you definitely know if that's been handwritten, mind written, or AI generated.
yeah, or if it's been transcribed from somebody speaking. You know, the way we speak is very different than what you're going to see on paper in written form. One of the Cool Frog was, doing his news reel. I think on Saturday, the Derail Me stuff,
Yeah,
and he brought up you know a very bigoted um, article, and yeah, right away, I said, "This is AI. This is AI stuff, and it's just there to bug people. It's just there to uh, cause inflammation, literally.
yeah,
And of course, people can do that, but yeah, with AI, I'm sure they could trigger these things and just dump them out, and it doesn't trace back because there's fake names and it's a fake article and there's fake numbers, and it's just another synthetic out on the market, another synthetic that is not healthy for digestion.
not at all.
Yeah, and so before you were, again, before you jumped in, I was talking about kind of that, and I'm just as a generic term, the ego kind of telling me what I should be doing here. And I sometimes get this little voice, convincing me that I am here to be some form of entertainment.
Too
And
late
so,
now.
yeah, and so I find myself in a quiet moment because that's what I feel is best for me at that moment, right? And I kind of like, and it's kind of cool. I kind of get swallowed deeper into that because my mind goes, "Hey, there's people listening. They might stop listening if you're not talking. They might go somewhere else." And I have to go, "Okay, you know, um, all right, that's okay. That's okay, Kai. You're not. This is not. See how many words you can spew out. See how many ideas you can spew out. This is just a movement. let it move as it does. There's nothing to achieve here. It's just
I have journals and books and things always at hand. I have lifted one up, opened it up at the 16th of April 2018. And this is what I wrote. I've had enough of your hypocrisies. I've had enough of you telling me what's good for me. I've had enough and I see right through you. I've had enough politicians and nothing is true. I've had enough all you do is fake and steal. I've had enough, yet children still go without a meal. I've had enough going with the flow. I've had enough deep down, you know. I've had enough of you who think you know it all. I've had enough false prophets as this planet falls. I've had enough. I'm not here just for the view. If you've had enough, then I'm guessing I'm just like you. Now, for you to sort of like AI generate that, it would be almost impossible because that was coming from such a deep feeling at that moment from my life experience, right? So you would almost need to tutor the AI generator with that in mind to be writing something from a deep soul course feeling from someone's life experience that's led them to a point. So you could maybe get close to something like that. But that, I think, is just the sort of thing that you can tell, yeah, someone wrote that, you know?
it has life in it. It has life and essence. It's like you can, open up a pot pie from the freezer and put it in the oven, and you have food. You do have food. Um, and if you're very fortunate or prepared or whatever you want to call it, instead of doing that, you can go out to your garden and clip some leaves off some lettuce and maybe dig up some potatoes, and you can make a meal. And what you'll be digesting is going to have a very different and profound effect on your system as a whole. So that's how I feel about it. I'm not even like, there's music there's tons of music that is overly manufactured, and the essence, I think, is lacking, or maybe it's not even there, maybe it was never even there, and the humanity is unclear. And so, to me, okay, what you just read, I would say is a poem written by a master of that particular craft, and I appreciate the essence of spirit and can connect with it. Me personally, I could connect and enjoy a poem that's written from the heart, that is not necessarily masterful, because I could appreciate and feel the essence of the person that is trying to communicate something.
Well, it's strange also. It's like a lot of these things that I have actually written, I've never had ever intended to write them for others to hear. In fact, sometimes when I read through some of my journals, I will get halfway through a short story or a poem, and I've been writing with so much rage or so much passion or so much imagination at the time that I can't even read my own writing. You know, it's like, oh, that's yeah, I would now be making things up if I tried to. What word was that I was putting there, and what does this say? So it's a strange sort of just individual outlet that, yeah, can be shared and can maybe be inspirational to people that might hear certain phrases put together in a certain way, or can connect with the vibration of a story being told. So I think it's very, very important the stories told and the poetry and music all shared. It's a deep part of us all. It touches us all, you know.
Yeah, and you kind of reminded me maybe of what is the deeper kind of underlying need. And I think that deeper underlying need is that we find our own voices, that we share our own truths if we feel like it, and that we do not replace them with someone else's truth. We do not replace, we do not give up our own voice for a manufactured voice.
No.
You know, and we're so mesmerized by intellectualism, and we really need not be. You know, we don't need to be mesmerized by something that just seems like vast and knowledge, and not saying that it's not a joy and interesting and fun to dive into. But I think what happens is people start to feel inadequate in their own meaning because they don't know everything about, um, you know, whatever given topic, whether, you know, whatever the conversation is that they're listening to other people have. And so if anybody is out there and you want to kind of listen to any, go back and check out the videos that I make, and especially that have other people in them, uh, and you want to talk to me, and you might, you know, be a guest, I would really like that, because what I wanted to do, because everybody's interviewing the same people, you know, the same circuit, and talking to the same people, the same circuit about the same stuff, and you know, you have all these experts or somebody who knows about this and knows about that. Um, Something that I wanted to do and want to do is just talk to people. Just talk to people, find out what they're feeling, if they're willing to share that, find out what they do, you know, find out what we have in common, or, you know, whatever it is, and have a conversation with, and I have to say this with some knowing that it's not going to be right, but just talk to regular people and have a conversation, and know that that is as special as it gets. That those voices are, in my opinion, the most important. And by those, I mean you I mean, me as well. My own voice is the most important in my life, as far as I can tell.
If
How I got to
you
that place, I don't know.
if you could choose if you could choose to speak with someone, uh, do you have anybody in mind out there on the planet that you would like to actually sit down and have a conversation about things with?
um, the first people that pop into my head would be like my family members.
Yeah.
Uh, like as far as like sitting down with like a famous person or like, yeah, I would be happy to do that. I'd be happy to have that conversation um,
What
with
about if
whoever.
we what about
But
if
I
we
don't.
could have
Yeah, maybe okay. I would love to like sit down with like Ramdas or Terrence McKenna.
well
Um,
that's what I
and
was
I
going
would
to
just love to be out of my. They would take me
that's
out of
what
my realm with.
that's what I was going to say. I was like the Terence McKenna sort of vibe, but a lot of the Terence McKenna's Institute and Technology and all the speeches that he gave and all the seminars that he did was after he'd had his experiences. So
Oh
it was
yes,
just
yes,
it was a
absolutely.
shared experience. But I would really love to try one time, maybe having an interview with the mushroom. So like myself as the vessel, and to connect to the psilocybin and see what the mushroom maybe has got to tell us.
Yes. Well,
I don't know if anybody wants to interview a mushroom at the moment, but we would maybe be the only ones.
yeah, definitely with that. I think I could recruit a few people for that one. Hey,
Yeah,
so
well, it would be good to get questioners just for the people who would maybe be in the circle of experience of taking the psilocybin on the event.
yeah, yeah. I gotta run. It's that
Yeah, no,
time.
brother, it is.
Oh man, thank you for the excellent conversation. Thank you for the great
Thank you, man.
morning. Yeah, I dropped a link to a few guests. I would say my venerated guests in here in the
Yeah.
description. So we got the Blunt Scotsman. I put a link to Just Me Art Fan. I put a link to Cool Frog, and
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.